Hey folks, a little bit of a nasty day in the market. We're kind of on our fourth down day, but today was obviously what felt like a big flusher. The market just we gapped down and we couldn't really even catch a bounce anywhere. See, this is what we'd call a trend down day. So you get the gap down, but then you actually follow through and you have all these bounces into resistance, get shorted or sold off. That's a trend down day, which is a great day to actually day trade as long as you're playing on the right side of the move. Otherwise it's really hard. Like if you're trying to go counter trend and stuff like that, it gets really tricky. Not much else to say. We've seen this type of action before. After these big runs, we get some big dumps. Now this one came a little bit sooner than we have in the past, and so that's a little bit different. Usually we tend to run for a couple months before we kind of fall off the cliff type of thing. I wonder how much that has to do with the oil prices or what, or global slowdowns. Who knows? A week ago they said the U.S. economy is chugging at record pace, and now they're saying the whole globe is in deflation because of price of oil. You never know. That's why we watch the price action and we judge accordingly. So now that we've broken under the 50-day moving average, our next stop will be down here, and then maybe to the 200-day moving average or so on. But in the scheme of things, we're still nowhere near really our lows from October. You know what I mean? So the market seems nasty, but we haven't fallen as much as we've seen in the past. And so these things can last for a little bit of while, a couple weeks, but overall the market kind of double topped up here, and we're just flushing back down. And so we'll see if we break down below here. Obviously, that's a lower low, and that could change some potential things. But in the big picture, you still got rising moving averages from your 50-day, 200-day. The key is really the price of this oil, which is starting to feel a little bit like capitulation. But these things can overshoot. It looked like we were kind of basing out here, and then we broke under. And today we gapped down and then followed through the whole day. You could feel that pressure coming in when we were trading some of these oil stocks and stuff like that. But you're getting to kind of that danger zone where you may get that capitulation type flush. But where that happens, I mean, we don't really know. All we can do is, once you start to get really stretched and really oversold, you start looking for potential rubber band type of plays. In the meantime, if you're looking at like market breadth or anything like that, we're not necessarily in oversold territory. Usually 20 is like an extreme oversold or anything along that. We're at 38 on the Warden indicators for percentage stocks, above their moving averages. So just something to keep an eye on. We're not necessarily, the world hasn't fallen off the cliff yet. We've only been down a few days in a row. So let's take a look at the watch list. I'm watching this ATHX. It hasn't gone parabolic just yet, but you're starting to see some real action at some of these really turdy bios. Watch and see if this one takes a big ramp up. We'll look to possibly get short on this one. I'm just keeping a basket of oil stocks. I don't have a particular bias on them just yet. Like BCI, all these things, they were flagging and now they're flushing. And so, I mean, theoretically, if the oil markets keep breaking down, you should see some type of retest back to lows. But how much of this was due to tax loss selling and stuff like that, you'll never know. But that's something we'll have to watch is if the markets keep flushing, oil markets keep flushing, do these things all start to catch up and come back and test these lows? Remember that like 6% seems like a big day, but we've had 20-30% days in some of these stocks. And so, we'll have to keep an eye on that. SEMP, we took like a short on this earlier today. We nailed like a buck on it. Still super extended stock. It's one of those biotech stocks. Biotechs have been really making a run, but we're starting to get into that stretch zone. EMES is another one. If you start to see the bounce in oil, this one's already been down like 5 days in a row, so it's starting to get oversold. So I'd be looking at this one for potential long. With all the momentum in the biotech name, this one eyes is starting to build a little bit of a bottom over here, and so I'm curious to see if this thing holds and get some volume in it. I personally wouldn't just take it unless I started to see some volume and some really solid intraday setups. A GoPro still on the watch list. I didn't take the trade today with the market acting so nutty, but watch, it may pull back for another day and then try to make it go. But it does look like it's going to try to break this 50-day moving average. HLF, I missed this one yesterday. I'll be watching this one. If we get a pop in the morning and we go green to red or something along that end, I'll take this thing short. ISIS, nice breakout to highs. I had this on my watch list and I kind of forgot about it. I took my eye off the ball today. Watch for a weak open on this and a red to green move. I do like the look on this. Juno, now we're on kind of a multi-day pullback. One more flush and we'll potentially have this thing ready for a long. We're almost getting there, right? That's your breakout pullback. So this would be an area of interest for support, as that was your previous breakout spot. Kite had a monster move today. This was the first day you started to see really that vertical stretch. Watch and see if we get some type of parabolic move tomorrow. We may get a quick counter trend short. Long term, this stock's obviously in an awesome trend. It's breaking its flag patterns and it's acting the way it should. This would be a quick counter trend type of play. NDRM, we had a good day in trading this one in the chat room today. We hit this thing at the open and it did get back a little bit of its gains, but it looks like, we're starting to firm up a little bit here. This nerve stock, peaked up. It's up like 100% after hours and some news. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. I don't have any particular bias on this, as there's not really that much of a setup. It's going to be breaking out to all-time highs or yearly highs or whatever. So, we'll have to keep an eye on this. These type of things can get a lot of juice. They can get a lot of juice. We just won't know. Sometimes like something like an NDRM, it catches fire, and then the next day you get a big gap up in something else like an NRX, and it fades. And that's part of that's a little bit of a part of the game. NLNK was slightly down today after coming out of its flat top breakout. It's still holding here, so this pattern is still valid. I'll be watching at this for potential longs. If the market holds, I won't take it unless that happens. Russ is the ETF for Russia. It looks like this one is getting ready to really make a move. Anything over this kind of 30 mark could get this thing really taken off. SDRL, I got nothing. I don't have a play on this. My play is, if we start to see the bounce in oil, then this would be a potential double bottom. Otherwise, I don't have really any other interest in that one. And out of all the oil stocks, this is probably the shittiest trader too. It doesn't trade that well. SM, same type of thing. If oil keeps flushing, does this thing get back to 29? Or is there a divergence that comes in where these things hang on? If the market and the NASDAQ and stuff keep the pressure on and we get flushes, something like an SWKS, you break under this kind of zone right here and you break your 20-day, you could get a nice quick flush in this. Last time the market got nasty, you saw some real crazy days in SWKS, and that could happen again. This thing is a little bit top heavy right now, and you're starting to see a little bit, not too much distribution, but you're starting to see the bounce days are really light on this. VIP is another one that's flagging from the bottom, but right if the Russia markets fade off, like if you see Rusco, this one will probably snap right here at 4, and you may see a quick real flush in this bad boy. So that's it for now. I don't have too many stocks on my watch list, but once again, we'll be watching these oil stocks. There's always the ancillary plays like shippers and solar and things of that nature. Biotech, remember, is a really hot sector right now, even with the market, even with the market flushing. There's a lot of money still in biotechs, and so make sure if you're trading to the long side, you try to stay in the hot sectors where there is money coming in, and people don't really care about what's happening with the oil markets or Putin or whatever. These type of things are a little bit more immune to that. So that's it for now, guys. I will see everybody later. Take care.